Well, I know it's been tough, especially for touring musicians during COVID. Um, but once things started to open again, people went back. People are going back because people crave live music. Like, I don't think it will go away completely. Um, there may be like surges or whatever in this virus, but people are always going to continue to go. Like, I've had to reduce the amount of concerts I've gone to, but I'm about to go to my second one. I'm going to see the Marias um, in October, and it's an outdoor venue. It's going to be, I think there's going to be ways to continue. So continue to, continue.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the All Music Matters in That podcast. I'm your host, Brian. And joining me today, another lady from the West Coast, actually. It's Briana. How do you pronounce it? How do you pronounce your last name?
Hi, my name is Briana Macias.
Macias, okay. I want to make sure I pronounce that right. Sorry.
Thank you.
And you're actually our first woman that we had on my podcast right now, so we got an achievement.
Oh, yeah! How exciting!
Actually, my mom was bothering me about that too, because I've been running it for this year, and it's all been men so far. So she said it's time to get a woman on there. So
your mom is a very smart woman.
Yes, very much.
Thank you for having me as the first woman on your podcast. That's exciting.
Absolutely, and special thanks to Rich Raw Dog Drums, because I guess he. I didn't want to say hosted, but I guess he kind of mentioned your channel on his. I guess it's one of those things because he's doing something similar to what Drumman 190 is doing. It's drummers to watch. I think he changes it a little differently, but it's more like getting other drummers to recognize other ones out there and get them to talk and everything too, and get them to know you.
Yeah, Rich is super cool. I was taken by surprise one day when I saw that he shared me, and he's left super nice comments and on I think every video I've posted since he found me. He's really cool, awesome guy, and I'm really happy that he introduced me to you.
Yeah, and he told me about another fellow named Tom Counts, aka Preach Rocks, and I interviewed him yesterday. And Rich has been a big help trying to help me get to know other drummers in and around here too, and we also get to know other people's stories too. And yours is interesting because I think he really wants to know about, I guess, your roles in Bling Empire.
Oh yeah, I recently, within the past couple years, started working as a production assistant and training to do sound mixing in TV. So, last year, 2021, I worked on Bling Empire a lot as a production assistant, but I was also training with the sound mixer. I was basically shadowing him and learning how to do that. And so that's going to be a path that I'm now pursuing. Yeah.
That's pretty sweet. And I guess what's it about? Because I don't think I ever saw it before.
Oh, so Bling Empire, I think they pitch it like Crazy Rich Asians, that movie, but in real life. And it really is. We were, there's a cast of people, and most of them are like, they're crazy rich. There's their average guy, Kevin, who basically grounds the show, and you're seeing him enter this new world of like crazy richness. And we filmed some really cool events with them last year, and we went into their homes, which were super crazy. There's a home in Newport that's like the biggest house I've ever been to. Such a nice view. I would have never like seen any of these places if it wasn't for working on that show. So that was really cool. It was a really fun job too.
It sounds more like a kind of documentary series too. Is that kind of what it is, or?
Oh yeah. It's basically I think Netflix calls it like a soap, a docu-soap or something, because it's reality TV, but it's not just like following people around, like it's a higher production. I think they put more time into like lighting things and stuff like that. Yeah, but it's on Netflix. It's a fun show. It's pretty deep too. They deal into like personal issues as well. It's not just like all the rich, lavish lifestyle. So yeah, check it out. It's really cool.
These also people that kind of went through certain struggles, maybe like drug abuse or something, and they made it big, or is it something that still goes on in their so-called rich lives now?
So they didn't delve into any of that in the show. I think some of these people are just their families are rich. Like I believe the the Chews on the show, like if dynasties still existed today, they would have been like royalty. So yeah, these a lot of these people they come from money, or like Anna Shea, um, she comes from like her family. I think her dad was into he was like an arms dealer. Like there's some yeah, crazy rich people on that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it sounds more like how English society would have been with like the dukes and I guess as you work the way down, like lords and stuff like that. And then it's kind of like how that is too. I guess they just
Yeah.
don't use titles and everything now.
Yeah. But I guess like in modern LA. And then there's like someone's a DJ, and then like there's other different people. One of their dads is I think he invented the VPN. Like she's a billionaire heiress. So yeah, a lot of interesting characters. But the cool thing is, even though like money can like make people out of touch and like not treat people well, but most of the cast was like super nice, like really, really nice people. And yeah, that was a fun show to work on.
It does sound pretty nice, and it's good too because I think normally the money and power all goes up to the head here, so you tend
Yeah.
to think you end up with a narcissistic, arrogant kind of bunch there. They'll maybe boast like, "Hey, I got all this money, come and take it from me," and that sort of thing. So
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I just because you were talking to me about this show, I actually have a drumming related reason as to how I started working on this show.
you do all right.
Yeah.
Let's not spoil
So,
it just yet. I was gonna say hold it.
ooh, we'll
Uh,
get we'll
We'll
get
get to that point. We'll get to that point. We want to get some questions into you first, but I wanted to get Bling Empire out of the way because I want to get it to you early too, because I think Rich he was really asking for it too, and it's good.
Yeah, yeah.
I think everybody else to kind of know like what sort of thing you do. That's your normal job, right?
Yeah, that's all.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're gonna get into the side hustle now, which is your drumming history. So, got some questions here for you. So, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, so let's start with a simple one. Tell us a little bit about yourself, particularly your drumming history.
Okay, so the drumming history it goes way back. So my uncle he plays drums, and whenever I'd visit, like since I can remember, I would like hit his drums. He had a drum set, and I'd always want to play on them. And I really loved like marching bands. Like I loved going to parades, watching the marching bands and the drummers. And my first drums, I guess, it was a little Tykes like marching drum, and I would tie it to myself, and I'd wear a bucket on my head and pretend I was in a marching band. I even have a picture from when I was like, how old was I? I look like 3 or 4 in the picture. And I would march around the house singing a song I made up going, "Be for Briana," to your roots, even if you're a baby. But so I wanted a real drum set every year, like every Christmas, every birthday, I'd always ask for drums. And then my 8th birthday, I got a drum set. It was a used drum set, a Pearl Forum Series drum set, and that was the first drum set I ever got, and only the second drum set I've ever had. But so yeah, I was in a band with my elementary school friends. We played in our talent show when I was in 4th grade, and at first we called ourselves the Funky Monkeys, but then we decided. I think when we did like a local talent show in Covina, where I'm from, we changed our name to G-Rated, which I think is a pretty cool band name for children. Pretty cute, I think.
We're G-rated. We're not rated R. That's our thing.
Yeah, exactly. In junior high, there was a band class there, but I actually didn't take it. I took TV and media in junior high, and I just sort of jammed with friends. Like, I just had friends who played instruments. We jammed together. It wasn't until high school that I joined the marching band. Finally, like, that was something I always wanted to do. So freshman year, I played the bass drum, was in the marching band, did winter percussion as well. So the fall was marching, winter percussion. And then sophomore year, all the seniors graduated, and the only people left in the marching band were 2 drummers. So we had to recruit a clarinet player to play bass drum. So just me on snare, someone else on tenors, someone else on bass drum. And I was the captain my sophomore year. And then the rest of my high school, I was the drumline captain. Never played tenors, just jumped to snare, did snare for 3 years. And that was really fun. I think, like, if there's any, like, young drummers out there who play drum set, I think marching band is a really, like, important tool, because you learn about rudiments, you like get better at like playing to a metronome, playing in time. So that, I think that stepped up my drumming level a lot. And then this will be a plot twist to people who don't really know me. My senior year, my sister's band, That Killed Crimson, they were a metal band, super cool. They started to break up, and then she ended up, my marching band instructor ended up joining her band as the drummer. And then she slowly wanted to transition into another project. So my sister and my drumming instructor, who is now the drummer, convinced me to play bass for them in that band. So I played bass in the band Stars of Seraphim for a couple years, but when that drummer left, I then finally went in my rightful place on the drums. So then I was in a band with my sister. She sang, played guitar, I played drums. She would like write all the songs and stuff too. And that was really fun. Like, we'd played different places in LA, like the coolest places were like the Viper Room and the House of Blues, the Whiskey, you know, all of those sorts of things. So that was fun. But when my sister got a job in Japan playing for Universal Studios Japan, and then I was getting busy with college, and then our guitarist was getting busy with college. So then we just decided like it wasn't a good time to be in a band anymore. And then for a while, I didn't really play, which is a shame. I didn't realize how much I'd miss it. I just started, you know, I was busy with college and then busy working. And then one day I was like, like working feels so monotonous. I miss my drums. I need them. That's what's missing from my life right now. They were in the garage. I didn't play them a lot anymore. And then I decided that like it would be cool to start doing covers. So there was a song by one of my favorite bands, Paramore, called Told You So. And I was just like, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm going to film a cover of this. And I ordered a light, but it didn't come in yet. And I was like, I feel like I can do it now. And even though my light's not in, I'm going to film it. I don't even care. So I just had one microphone that I used for like film school and stuff. It was just a shotgun microphone, and I just pointed it up the drum set and did my first cover of Told You So by Paramore. The lighting was super bad, could barely see anything in it. But since then, I think, what year was it? 2018, I've been doing drum covers. So like, I'm not posting them often. It's like whenever I hear a song that I think would be fun to play, like I feel like inspired. like either a song that I want to learn it because it seems fun, like it's a goal of mine, or a song where I think there could be better drums in this. Like this song is good, but I feel like I could put in drums that would make it sound better. So then that's like another reason I'll film a cover. And yeah, so I haven't been in a band since that band with my sister, but like they say absence makes the heart grow fonder, you know? So during COVID, when I like knew like 2020, there was like no way anyone was touring in that moment. I was like, dang, I sort of wish I was in a band again. That would be fun. But yeah, that's basically it. That's my drumming history.
That's actually a killer name. Stars of Seraphim. Was that what it was?
Oh yeah, Stars of Seraphim.
Seraphim, sorry.
Yeah.
I always
My
pronounce it wrong,
sister
too.
came up with that name. She's super into like epic sort of like space and sciencey things. Yeah, a lot of her lyrics were like that.
Oh, it sounds more divine because I think that's the whole thing. Kind of delve into
Yeah.
Christian stuff too. Yeah,
Yeah, that's part of it as well.
I see. And okay, now you can start telling the story of the drum related thing with Bling Empire. What was it that kind of tied the two together?
Yeah, so I was working a job, a TV episode where they were like at a dance studio, and there was a drum set at the dance studio. I was just a PA. I was like, dang, I would like to play on those, but I don't want to get in trouble or anything. So as the day went on, I see my production manager and a few other people on the crew. They're hitting the drums up there. They're like playing the piano, all the instruments there. And I was like, oh, well, if they can, I'm gonna go see if I can. So then they were playing, and I asked if I went up there. I was like, oh, can I play? And they're like, yeah. And then one of them starts getting off the piano. I was like, oh no, I meant the drums. And then they're like, oh yeah, sure. And then apparently, to everyone's surprise, I played well, and like everyone was like, "Oh wait, who's this girl?" Like, because I was just a PA on set. They're like, "Who's she?" And like the cast and like the crew, they all started to like walk around and like filming me, and they're like, "Whoa, like you were super good! Like how surprising!" And because like as I'll get there in a second.
Yeah.
So Andy Yip, who is the sound mixer that I was shadowing on Bling Empire, he was on that show. He came up to me and he was like, oh, you're really good at drums. Would you be interested in learning about sound mixing? And at the time, I hadn't even considered it. I was leaning towards like cinematography, like something in the camera department I was interested in doing. But when he said that, I was like, I think that would fit. That would fit me because like when I do drums, like I do my sound, like even though I'm only using one microphone, I understand levels and like not peaking. And when I was in school, like I learned like the basics of sound mixing and stuff. So he started to train me, and he said, talk to the production manager on Bling Empire, and if you get into that, you can shadow me and you can learn and stuff like that. So thanks to my drumming, thanks to me somehow like having the courage to go up there and just play in front of people, I got that job, and now I'm, learning sound mixing. So thanks, drumming,
Yep, put two together there. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think of another question. I guess what years were those? Was that like when you first started off? I guess how long's Bling Empire been kind of rolling?
Oh, so I didn't work on the first season, but I started working on it last year. So previously I had just done commercials, and I did one TV thing. It was like a web thing, but before that was like all commercials. Bling Empire was like the first like actual TV show that I worked on, and that was just last year. Yeah.
I see. And are you able to use your current set right now, or do you have to use the studio sets that they have at their studio?
Oh, drum sets?
Yeah.
Oh, so I have my own drum set. I have a Pearl. Oh, I'm sorry, that was my old one. I'll tell you. So
Yeah.
I had my Pearl Forum series up until 2019. So my first drum set I ever had, I just got a new one in 2019. I now have a um, PDP X7 series. I was actually looking at like Guitar Center and stuff because I was thinking I don't have DW money, but like a PDP is like owned by DW. They're pretty comparable for the price. And so I was looking at that drum set, and then one day my mom sent me, I think I forget what it was, not like Facebook Marketplace or like somewhere where they sell things, you know. It was one of the drum sets I was looking at. So I went, looked at it, played it, thought it sounded great. Yeah, so that's at my house, and that's the one that I use. I think since my All For Us cover, that's the drum set that I've been using since 2019.
I see. Did you get any more microphones with your whole drum kit?
So I did not. um, I know it can sound a lot better if I individually mic the drums, especially because the cymbals and the hi-hat can be really overpowering. But as of now, I was like, I am not really like trying to make like money off of this. Like, you can't make money off of it. And I'm like, not a lot of people are watching. It's just like something I'm doing as a hobby. So I just kept it at one because it does the job. A surprisingly good job for one microphone. It would be on a boom pole, like, you know, they hold those microphones. It's one of those. That was the only one I had. I just set it up on a mic stand, pointed it at my drums, and then it worked. I was like, oh, I'll just keep doing that. So I have.
I guess whatever floats your boat. So
Yeah.
to each his own. That's what we'll say.
Yeah.
The one question I was kind of answering or kind of asking was, do they allow you to bring that drum set into the studio, or do they have their own?
Oh, I don't go to any studio. Yeah, it's all me. Like, all the covers I do, everything I do, like, I set up the cameras, I set up my light, and I have such, like, I could buy more things, but I have such a, I guess I'll say, janky way of doing it. Like, I have like just a lamp to light the side of my face, and then I have a ring light in front where one of my cameras is also on. Put a few, like a little colorful light, a little more interesting. But yeah, I just do it all myself, record it all myself. Like, I'll sit in front, like, clap to make sure the cameras sync and the audio sync. And yeah, sometimes, because one of my cameras is autofocus, the other is not. Sometimes, because I do it all by myself, I will find that camera that is not autofocus will be slightly out of focus, because I'll try my best. I'll put something where I sit and I'll like focus it to make sure it's going to work, but it doesn't always work. They turn out pretty good otherwise.
How many cameras do you have, and do you do it from like how many angles, like 2, 3, something like that?
Yeah, I have two cameras. I have a Canon Rebel T2i that I've had since college, and then I have a Canon 70D. I got that a few years ago. And if I feel like the cover would benefit from like a foot camera, like if there's double bass in the song, I will use my phone as my third camera angle, and I'll just put it on like a little phone stand, you know, and I'll have to borrow someone's phone to listen to music. But yeah, that's what I'm working with.
Sometimes what I do, if it has to involve like a foot cam, I'll do all the angles first, where it just shows like the upper part of my body, and just do it all over again. This time with the camera on the floor, you just do the foot pedals. This time you just focus all on the foot, so you don't have to worry about messing up. It's okay if you mess up on the top there, so it's at least okay there.
Yeah, because I feel like, I don't know why I've made this my goal, but to like, I want it all in a take. Like, I will do multiple takes. I always do multiple takes, but I just like the idea of I played it all the way through with no mistakes, or as minimal mistakes as possible. So all my covers, they're live, basically, each camera. is all shooting at the same time. And it's a challenge, but it's a fun challenge to me.
That's kind of how the showbiz goes too, because normally it in like one take was perfect. They want you to probably do it again. So it's like, okay, we got all these other ones. We'll compare, contrast, and see which one was best before we put it into the final reel. So
yeah,
I can see why, yeah. But for me, it seems like if it doesn't work, like if I feel like I did screw up pretty bad, I'll just start all over again. Just stop recording, then hit record again, and just try to do it right this time. Then just worry about canceling it or deleting it later. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. I've had some covers are more difficult than others. Like some, I do like at least 6 takes, even if it's an easy one, because I just like to have options. Because even though like I sound like everything's in time in that moment, when I listen back, sometimes I might be slightly off. So I'm such a perfectionist. I like to choose the best ones. But I've had some covers where I filmed multiple takes. I listened to them all and I was like, I don't like these. I'm going to do it again tomorrow. So then I will do it again. Or I've had a cover where I just looked back when I was editing it and I was like, I don't think this works. Like, because I made up my own drums to the song and I was like, I don't think it actually needed this after all. So then I ended up not posting it. But yeah, I definitely have, I don't know if it's a problem or a good thing, problem with perfectionism. Yeah, but I think I've been working on that a bit more. Like my Olivia Rodrigo cover that I did, I barely practiced it. I was just gonna do a clip of it on TikTok. I was just gonna find the best part and then put it up. And then I only did one camera angle. And then when I watched it back, I was like, oh, like the whole thing sounded pretty good. I'm just going to post this on my YouTube channel. And somehow that cover did better than every other cover that I've posted. So I'm learning now, like, you don't have to like try as hard. Like just, if I like a cover or if I like a song and I feel like I can cover it, I'm just going to do it. And if some parts aren't as perfect as I'd want, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, no, I suffer from that problem too. And it happened more so when I was doing Silverstein covers. And I felt like I had to get it right, but it was like more, I think it was November, yeah. The song was called November, and the choruses were a little bit tricky because he threw in like tom hits here and there, so it was timing. And afterwards I was like, let's just get it as close as we can and then just leave it at that. And maybe people won't notice the mistakes. So if people point it out, then I'd be like, hey, good on you. Good job. Yeah. You point out the mistake. That's what you did. So.
Yeah. For some reason, I am trying to avoid that. Even though you are going to get negative comments, it's inevitable. I would like to invite the least amount possible. Because even though it's just a random person, it like hurts. I'm like, and then someone comments on something that I knew I could have done better. I'm like, darn, I could have, But by being as much of a perfectionist as possible, if someone leaves a dumb comment, I'm like, it's not really something I care about, So it doesn't bother me as much.
Did you get a lot of those in the beginning there?
I surprisingly have not. Which is really cool. I think if you got a lot more views, it invites a lot more negativity. A lot of people watching. Most people were really nice. I did get a few. A lot of them. So I am open to constructive criticism. Like when I first started posting, I did one camera angle. I had some people rightfully saying, I think it would be more fun if you added another angle, or I think it would be more fun if you showed more of your drum set. And I was like, yeah, I agree. I think that's a good idea. But I get comments a lot that are like, not a lot, but more than I would like, but you should smile in them. Like, you should smile in them, it would be better. And I'm like, I get it. I think personally, I could look like I'm having more fun when I'm doing my covers, but for some reason I have like a focus face and like I just look very serious. And when I can, I'll try to like loosen up, have more fun with it. But the smiling comment, I'm always just like really, like do all drummers smile? Like, is that a necessary thing to say? It's a little sexist, you know, like Dance Gavin Dance. Their drummer never smiles. You know, I got a comment on one of those videos to say you should smile, and I was like, but their drummer never smiles. Would you ever say that to him? Like, I don't know. But it is something I work on. Like, I'm trying to work on looking like I'm having more fun as I'm playing. Because even though internally I'm focused, that it's hard to show it, you know? Have you ever had trouble with that? Like when you're doing your covers?
All the time. In fact, it's like one of those things, like the camera's rolling, I gotta get serious, that sort of thing. It's not like how the TV show Jackass was, where it'd be like, even if you screw up, it's okay, because that's what the show's all about too. It's this one, and it was a problem in the beginning with me, because he goes back to that whole perfectionist thing again. So it was like, I gotta do this right, and maybe at some points, maybe I can look like I'm having fun if it's a part I know emotion, that sort of thing. So you want to maybe show it too, and if it's like simple, maybe not overtly complicated, then yeah, you could do that, maybe show it more. Other times it's like, gotta stay focused. I can't, otherwise if I take my eyes off, I might lose my sticks, because mine's a little kind of tightly packed, so if I accidentally hit my cymbal, the stick goes flying there, so that's kind of the bad thing too.
Yep, that happens. Yeah, it's trying to find a balance, you know, between playing it well and also, you know, and I think it's funny because my last cover I posted, I specifically remember thinking, okay, I can have more fun with this. So my last take, I'm going to have a lot more fun with it. And in my head, I was moving so much. And then I went back and I watched it. And it's like the bare minimum of like what a lot of people just do naturally. I was trying really hard to rock out as I was playing it. And I was like, wow, that's it. That's all on that.
I do remember, because I used to be a strings player back then, I did remember during concerts I would feel into it a little bit at times when we were, I don't want to say shredding, but you know what I mean, really into it, I should say, really into it sort of thing. So yeah, I could kind of see what you mean there too, and I think I've maybe tried thinking like, okay, I'm going to feel like I'm going to move, that sort of thing, maybe bob the head a little bit so it looks like, and then you think like, not the greatest, but it's at least still a video, it looks like it could do it, that sort of thing. Yeah. But going back to the comments, where you don't really understand like the English, or then they bring it in a foreign language and stuff like that. And it's like, I don't think I follow. What are you talking about? That sort of thing. So.
Yeah. I had a weird one once. I can't even remember what it said specifically, but it's a sort of negative comment that really doesn't bother me because I didn't even know what it meant. It said something like, you weak, hit hard. You weak, hit harder, or hit stronger, or something. And I was like, huh? But I don't know who wrote it, but it was confusing, and I was like, I don't think hitting hard is necessarily a good way to play, but fun comment.
It shows that you're having more fun, I should say, because I know sometimes I like to hit hard too, especially considering the music I play more of the metal style, so
yeah,
it's only one that calls for it. Yeah. I'm sorry, what were you gonna say? I think you were about to say something.
Oh yeah, I was just agreeing with you. Like, it's sort of how hard I hit, or like stuff like that. I also think that I've just gotten more comfortable hitting harder recently. But then this is the problem with my one microphone setup. I have gone out harder and then noticed that my cymbals are overpowering everything. So because of how everything's set up, I'm learning to adjust my hitting according to my setup. Like, I'm trying to hit my cymbals a little softer, trying to hit my snare and my bass drum a little harder. You know, I'm like self-mixing my mix and stuff. Yeah, you know, working. Yep. Always trying to improve the more I go on.
Absolutely. What sort of sticks do you use?
So my preferred sticks are Vader 5Bs. I think they're like a heavier, sturdier stick, and probably like I'm probably used to like the marching drumsticks were heavy, sturdy sticks, so that's probably like why I started to lean into those. But I recently got Vader drumsticks, and maybe maybe I was just taken in because they were pink. Okay, maybe I was like, these are cute, and maybe that's why I got them. But they're really they're different than sticks that I usually play with. They're a lot lighter, but I can tell like um, they'd be good for like pop and or like jazz sort of style drumming, like something you don't need like a heavy hit to them. I've played those recently, and they're really cool. And not only do they play well and they sound good, they look cool on camera because they are pink.
I was gonna say it goes to the stereotype thing, like it's a girl thing, that sort of thing.
Sort of, which is it's funny because there's like they call it the pink tax, like where they'll price women's products more by just making them like a women's product, like say razors, like a men's razor and a woman's razor could work the same, but they make the women's one cuter and stuff, and like they can charge more for it. And I'm like, I'm not gonna fall for that. And then I see pink drumsticks, and I'm like, ooh, I gotta get those. How much are those? I don't care. Give me the pink drumsticks.
I see. That's pretty sick too. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Let's see. Uh, who'd you consider has been your biggest influence? And I guess list off any other ones you consider like a big influence as well.
So, growing up, Travis Barker was always my biggest influence. I like my goal in life. I was like, I want drum lessons from Travis Barker. Like since I got a drum set, I was like, I would love drum lessons from Travis Barker. And funny enough, I this never happened, and I never met him. But one of my instructors in my marching band in high school actually taught Travis Barker in his high school. So Perry Hall, shouts out to Perry Hall. He's a super cool guy. Yeah, he taught Travis Barker, and then he taught me. So I sort of had that wish come true, like in a very, if you like squint sort of way. But since I discovered Luke Holland on YouTube about, how long ago has it been? Like 11 or 12 years ago now, since I discovered Luke Holland. He's been my biggest influence, my favorite drummer. He's my same age, and he's like one of the best drummers out there. He started doing YouTube covers, and that's how I found him. I thought this fill in a Woe Is Me song sounded really cool, so I looked it up, and I saw he covered it. And ever since then, I've been following him, and he joined the band The Word Alive. They found him on YouTube, and I liked that band already. They're metal. So I liked them for a while. He left the band, and he's now Jason Richardson. Have you heard of him?
Is he in Jason Richardson sounds familiar. Is he part of a Polyfolia or something, or is that
He's not, but he plays a similar style. He has a very similar guitar style to that. So like Jason Richardson and Luke Holland have their own project together now, and they're just like they're like the best at what they do, making music together. And like I'm both encouraged and discouraged by Luke Holland because I'm like, dang, like he's my age and he is like there. He's so creative and he's so technical as well. But like I also watch him think, wow, I can never do that. Why do I even play? I'll never be as good as him. But I'm definitely, I think I'm influenced by him because I've watched him for all these years.
is it Jason Richardson from originally Born of Osiris and Chelsea Grin?
Yes, I believe so. Yes. I wasn't a fan of those bands before. I guess it just wasn't the style that I leaned towards. But I've been a big fan of his solos. I probably wouldn't have listened if Luke Holland wasn't in it, but I'm glad that they started making music together because I have no guitar skill, but I really appreciate really good guitar, and he's great.
Absolutely, too. I listened to his work in Born of Osiris and a little bit with Chelsea Grin. I think he was only with Chelsea Grin on the one album, but I think the funny story was with Born of Osiris. I guess there was a little bit of a falling out there. I guess most of the guys just wanted to just play music and get wasted and stuff like that, and he was more committed. So and
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell he's amazing.
absolutely. And was there anybody else, or was it mainly those two that you consider your big influence?
Yeah, those are definitely my biggest influences. Like, um, I liked a lot of bands, but like, I would never say that their drummers like influenced my playing personally. Yeah, so I'll go with those two.
Okay. And let's see. Have you ever played on the electric drum sets? Because it seems like those are starting to make a big impact in the scene today. So,
So I have only tried them at like Guitar Center, stuff like that. I just prefer the sound and feel of an acoustic set. Like I know that electric drum sets are probably good enough that there's like no delay and make it feel as realistic as possible. But I don't know, it just doesn't feel as natural as an acoustic set to me. So yeah, I'm an acoustic gal.
normally the question I like to ask after that is like, would you ever consider maybe getting one just so you can make it those big kind of drum sets you see like what Neil Peart and some of those drummers had, just to kind of, I don't know, goof around, make a little percussion sounds out of it?
Well, I think probably if I moved into an apartment or like an area where I was really close to neighbors, if I had to make that adjustment, then I'd get an electric kit. But as of now, probably not. I enjoy the acoustic.
I see. It's just as we
Yeah.
normally like to say. So what do you love most about drumming?
Oh gosh, it's just like I think except for when I'm learning a difficult part that I'm trying to learn, it's just a stress reliever. It's fun. I've always liked playing. It's just been something I've always enjoyed. I can like escape by playing them. I put my headphones on. This is how I practice. I'll put my headphones on and I'll shuffle through my Spotify playlist, and then I just drum to everything. And it's like if there's something stressful going on, I forget all of it, and it's just fun. That's why I love it.
Until you probably screw up or the sticks go flying, then I guess the stress returns, that sort of thing.
Yeah, like when I'm learning a difficult part for a just can't. That's the only time that I get frustrated, you know. But other than that, it's my stress reliever.
Absolutely. That's been the big reason people love drumming too, especially in our community that we got going on. And it's therapeutic is probably the correct word to say too.
Yes, I agree. Perfect word.
So there's that. And jumping into your YouTube channel, I guess, when did you say you started your YouTube channel? Was it 2018?
Yes, 2018.
I guess, was it just one day you felt like you wanted to do the cover and then kind of roll with it then and then see what else you could do?
Yeah, basically. I like I said, I watched Luke Holland's drum covers for a while. I'd always thought about it, but never really thought I would actually do it until that one Paramore song where I was like, this sounds really fun to learn. I'd like to learn it. And I haven't drummed in a while, and I think it would be fun to do. So then once I did that, I was like, oh yeah, this worked out. Like I have good enough equipment. And it's nice to set a goal for myself. Like once I come up with a song that I want to do, I feel accomplished once I've done it. Like in marching band in high school, like it was difficult, the whole process, learning your drill, learning your music. It was difficult, but it was all worth it when you would go to those competitions and you'd have your perfect performance. It makes it all worth it. So I think whatever I'm doing, life, like with work, if whatever's going on, I'm going to keep doing this because I enjoy it and I like setting these goals and like making these covers because it's fun. Yeah.
It eliminates the butterflies in the stomach. You get the rush of adrenaline, as I like to say too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is there anything you hope to achieve with your YouTube channel one of these days, or is it just like, here's my cover, see what you think, and see what happens?
Basically, it's like my hobby. Like I have fun doing it, but I wouldn't if someone like wanted me to drum for something and they needed to see like a portfolio, I guess, like what I do, it's nice to have that. So if anyone needed me for something and they could say like what style do you drum to, like how well do you drum, stuff like that, you could look at my YouTube channel. So even though it's not a goal of mine, if like someone ever wanted to like use me for something drum related, I would very much be open to it. And yeah, you could look at that as a reference.
I see. Yeah, I think most people seem to make it more maybe of a career or maybe a more of a side hustle. Then obviously not making big bucks whenever you just hit the 1,000 subscriber mark and everything. Like most people get the millions of views and stuff like that too. So maybe eventually, would you want to try to make a little side hustle out of it if you got to the 1,000 subscriber mark?
If I did, because copyright, you can't make money off of it. But
It's more of advertising. I think it's the advertising portion.
yeah, I guess I don't know. I think because if there was a good opportunity, like maybe to get endorsements out of it, something like that, or like say play with a musician for like a tour or like a show or something like that, that would be cool if that opportunity presented itself. But I think mostly it's just going to be something that I do for a hobby. Yeah.
Are you just strictly doing drum covers, or have you tried to do stuff like vlogs or anything else to kind of diversify your channel?
So because I am, my loves in life are drums and also film and television. I loved watching like movie reviews and like movie commentary things. And when I first started my YouTube channel, I tried to do some movie reviews and talk about, I think I talked about an episode of Supernatural. Like I thought that I was going to start doing that. And then I sort of just distanced myself from it because I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. I think I enjoyed watching other people more. And I still do. Like I watch like movie shows, like movie podcasts and stuff like that all the time, and with the drum covers. But on TikTok, because it's like it's a freer media, like social media, like people just post whatever on there. I'll have fun on there. Like I'll post silly, dumb things. Even I've had some things I've considered putting on my YouTube from TikTok, but I've just left them on there. Like I'll do a little sketch with my with a little drumming clip. You know what? I also, in a couple covers, I did a sketch. Like I think it was Story of My Bros by Dance Gavin Dance. I did a sketch in the beginning of the end of that just to like mix it up and have fun with it. So maybe I'll do that more. But I think I'm going to stick mainly to drums.
Yeah, I tried doing like vlogs and music reviews too, and it's a lot harder than what it looks like because you're trying to. I think the worst part is you try to imitate what people are doing with like theirs because you see like how they're doing it, and then you try to incorporate it into your own. And you think like this is a little harder than what I thought it was, and then quarters or with the parents and everything, and then the noise travels through the walls really easy. It doesn't really work out as well as it probably should. So unfortunately, I distanced myself from that, but that was why I decided to do this podcast instead, as well as to break down barriers and get to know our drummers in and around the world too. We've done a good number in the States and even a good number of people in Europe. I got one from New Zealand, so it's been a blast. I have to say, I've actually really digging this too, and it's great talking with you too.
Yeah, it's super cool that you have found this thing. That's the main reason a lot of us make YouTube videos. It's because it's fun. it gives us an outlet to like creatively express ourselves, and we may not do exactly what we're wanting to do like creatively at work, but you can always do that on your own and make your own stuff on YouTube.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Great to have you on too, and best luck going forward with whatever journey takes you on your channels, hands, and in film career too.
Thank you, Brian, and it was really nice talking with you.
So let's see, where are we at? Let's jump into COVID. I guess, how bad did it impact you, your family, and community?
Well, I just started a production assistant training program in March of 2020. And if that sounds familiar, yes, that is when everything shut down. So I was, for a while, I was trying to figure out how to get into like production to actually work on set of things. And then I found this production assistant training program that was going to be like 5 weeks. I think I was in it for 2 weeks, and then we all got sent home, and film production, everything shut down. You know, the whole world shut down. And I didn't go back to that program for 7 months. I was at home for 7 months, and started working during COVID in 2020 in November. And I hadn't known how set life was before because I had never actually worked on set. But so everything to me was just how it was, but this was new for everyone else, where you had to COVID test before you could work. We had to wear masks all day on set. When we had lunch, we'd have to be 6 feet apart. Previously, I was looking forward to like making friends and like hanging out with my coworkers and stuff, but instead, you know, it was just work. Wearing masks, like, you don't really know what anyone looks like until lunch comes around, and then you're like, oh, they're different than what I expected. Oh, they look exactly like how I expected, or like, oh my gosh, a surprise mustache. Where did that come from? So that was weird. I don't live in LA outside of Hollywood, so I would have to drive to LA on days that I didn't work to get COVID tested. These were like different things that like I wouldn't have had to do before COVID. Multiple times a week testing. On Bling Empire, we tested 3 times a week. Mm-hmm. Luckily, that was done at our office there. And personally, it was hard because like my sister got engaged in 2020, and they planned a wedding, and they had to greatly like reduce their plans. They were going to have a big wedding. They ended up just doing it at the beach with just like 15 family members there. And I was wearing a mask because I was super paranoid at the time. So in my sister's wedding pictures, there was a mask. We didn't party. We didn't do any of like the typical things you do, bachelorette party or anything like that. So that was different. Luckily, like my immediate family, we've all been healthy. For the most part, yeah, we're still doing well. But we're also very careful. Like, I didn't go to concerts for a long time. I went to my first concert in a while in November last year. And I only went because I saw that vaccines were required and everyone was required to wear a mask. So I went to one concert. But like, yeah, it's been weird. It's been a weird time. Like, I wish that I could like, I loved going to shows and stuff like that. And that's greatly reduced. It's weird. It's a weird time.
Yeah, I could relate too, because, well, first off, it was great working from home in my case, because like 2 years over here, because you thought it was just going to be a couple weeks, maybe a couple months at most. It's now been over 2 years.
Oh, where do you work? Where do you live?
I live in Pittsburgh, and company I work at, we always just refer to it as the bank. So
Mhm.
I'll go into too much detail, but we'll at least just give you the company name. So uh, it's been great. I mean, can't really complain too, and especially saving up on gas now, considering the circumstances going on these days too. In fact, when we first started, I forgot to ask like where are you hailing from in order to tell my audience where you were. But
Oh
since
yeah.
you're from Hollywood, so we
Um,
at least know California.
I live in Covina, California, which is in Los Angeles County, but it's still quite a drive to work because for Bling Empire, that was like a steady TV show where every day I drive to Hollywood to the office and then we'd work from there. But I would have to go for work. Like I've had a job in Malibu. Like I'd have to wake up at I think I had to be in Malibu at like 5:30 or 6 in the morning one day, so I'd have to leave with an hour to get there, and that's when there was literally no traffic. If there was traffic, it would take me like 2.5 hours to get there. So yeah, eventually I plan on moving closer to LA. For now, it hasn't been the worst, but like with gas now, oh boy. Yeah, it's something I'm considering more.
I can say why. As the price of gas is like what $7 to $8 a gallon in California now.
Yeah.
It's that bad.
I drive a Dodge Challenger,
Do you?
so it's not great. It's not great.
In terms of gas mileage, yeah, I can see what you mean. Yeah, I actually roll with a Dodge too, so I can see what you mean too. They do okay, but I'd say if it's just like simple driving, maybe not a whole lot of highway driving, then it eats up the tank pretty quick. So I can see what you mean.
Yeah.
Let's see. Did COVID kind of give you some? Damn, how to word this one because I shouldn't really say blessing of hope or blessing in disguise and stuff like that
Yeah.
because I've seen people who've were able to like delve into other projects such as YouTube. So I guess did COVID kind of open up any other doors for you to expand your YouTube channel? Or
It became like a way to keep me sane in 2020. Um, so because I was at home I didn't work for 7 months, it was nice to have, as I was saying, a goal to reach. It was something to do and to work on during that time off. I did a few covers in that. I think I can't say for sure. I'm not sure if I like increased the number of covers I did, but I should have. I had the time, but I think that I did more than I would have working during that time in COVID. Personally, I know what you mean. Like COVID, like it really poorly affected so many people. Like people lost family members. Like people got really sick. Some people got long COVID. Fortunately, it was weird for me, as you say. I finally got into the industry that I had been trying to get into for so long, and it was in 2020. Like I was finally working like on set and for commercials and then television. And I don't know, it just personally for me, my life, I started feeling like I was like moving up, even though it was such a hard time otherwise. Like career wise, I started to be during COVID. So yeah, even though personally, like it's been harder, like I haven't had as much fun, I am happy with where I've gone, even during this hard time.
in a sort of sense, you got obstructed in a way. So now, but you at least still got to where you were, right?
Yeah.
That's good to hear. All right, and let's see. I know I was just thinking of the question too, and I guess how's California been recently? Because my sister didn't really have the best experience at a bachelorette party when she went out there. So I guess how's it been in your neck of the woods?
So I think I love living in Southern California. I've been to like a few different countries, and I've enjoyed visiting, but it feels like home here. Like I love the warm weather. I love being close. If I want to go to the beach, I can go to the beach. If I want to go to the mountains, I can go there. You know, I love living here, but Los Angeles, Hollywood area is, if you've never been here before, it is not like what they show in the movies. It is not glitz and glamour. It's very dirty. Unfortunately, there are a lot of like mentally ill and homeless people around. It's sad. It's sad to see. But it's also, oops, sorry, I moved the camera.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Like culturally vibrant. I would say there's a lot of different people in LA. You could get a lot of different cuisines in LA, which is really nice. You could get the best Mexican food here because we're close to Mexico. I, despite its flaws, despite like there's crazy drivers, there's it's dirty. I still love it. It's I've never like been to New York other than a layover, but like people aren't super nice. Maybe they are, but I mean like maybe people are more blunt in New York. And LA, it's a lot, I guess, chiller. LA is a chiller big city to live in. And I love it personally, despite its flaws.
I can see, yeah. It's business town is probably more New York, really. Everything's business related, sort of that sort of thing too. So I can see what you mean. All right, so we reached this part of the podcast where now I give my interviewees a little bit of freedom to ask. So, fire at it.
Okay. Okay. Let me think of a good one. Who are your favorite bands, musicians? Who are your influences?
Influences? Well, as I mentioned earlier, I'm pretty much more into the death metal and the metal scene too there. So, but even a lot of the classic rock guys, Peter Criss, Bill Ward from Black Sabbath. Let's see, obviously Neil Peart from Rush. And to be honest, because it really extends back from those guys, and they've influenced all the big guys. And then when the death metal and metal scene started exploding out in the 80s and the 90s there, it influenced guys like Pete Sandoval, George Corliss, who's a big inspiration. Let's see. I know there's, at least trying to name a couple off my head there. I know Joey Jordison from Slipknot was another one. Like I said, it probably could go on, but
so we know you like metal. We know that's your genre, but do you perhaps have any guilty pleasure artist, like maybe a modern pop artist or something that you sort of like that maybe people wouldn't expect from you?
Oh, it sounds like a truth or dare kind of situation. I don't know. I mean, normally when it's like rap or R&B, I prefer it to be in the club. Maybe if it's like, because I also do a second job. I worked at the restaurant sometimes when it plays and the song comes on that maybe I know or something I listened to the first time and I'll be like, oh, I actually dig that. I would say Block Party, but that's still kind of a little bit of rock. Maybe not
Yeah.
sort of thing, but I know Block Party was a cool one too because I was actually in a cover band and we were doing one of the songs from them. And I can't remember what it was. It was not Helicopter. It was another song, and I think it was from the same album, but the song's not coming to me at the moment, so sorry. But
Oh, that's okay.
I do remember a friend of mine, the Eminem, 50 Cent, D12, DJ Khaled a little bit, maybe a couple Lil Wayne from here and there, but it was really about it. But I got more into metal, as you probably know, and it's something I stick with too because I love like the challenging parts to it, but I also like how much it uses the body more. So there's more of an exercise kind of routine to the metal style. So
Yeah.
that's why I always kind of roll with it.
Like that double bass, right? There's a lot
Very
of
much.
fast double bass. It feels like a workout.
Oh, you should see what blast beat.
Yeah. I have never learned to properly do a good blast beat. Like I enjoy doing double bass, but I never learned a blast beat. That's got to be something that I have to learn next.
The 1 foots are always hard. I think 2 foots just you're trying to play as fast as you can and make sure you're keeping it right too with the cymbals and everything. But if it's 2 foot, I just say it's more of just playing it fast, like how you typically do with a double bass, but you're just like picking up the speed.
Mm-hmm.
1 foot's a lot harder because you're just focusing on it too, and you're probably playing at a similar speed that you probably should be doing with 2 foot blasts. So you see what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So do you have time for me to ask you any more questions, or what would you like?
I guess how many more questions did you have?
I don't know. We could just chit chat, about let's see. So talking about we were talking about like double bass, single foot blast beats, all that sort of stuff. Just
Yeah.
like a comment. I think it's fun to put a random pop or dance song that's like a good tempo, and then I practice double bass to it. So even though the song doesn't actually have double bass in it, I'll use it to get better, and I'll keep like the steady double bass going, and then I'll like move around the drum set just so I can get like cleaner at doing it. But it doesn't matter the genre. It'll be like whatever comes on shuffle. Like if it's a good to it. Have you ever done that? Like have you just played to a random song and just added crazy stuff to it?
Definitely in terms of like improvising, I would say, yeah, maybe double bass a couple times if it felt appropriate, because maybe there was times I feel like maybe this isn't working. Let's just keep it simple taps and stuff like that. But in terms of fills, yeah, I've done that a couple times. And actually, a recent one I was doing was Judas Priest, which was You Got Another Thing Coming. Before I covered the actual song itself the way it was supposed to be covered, I feel like I got to improvise maybe a couple of spots, make it feel more lively or something that adds to the energy and stuff. Because when you're listening to it, you feel like the drumming is real simple in this. And I noticed that too with like other songs. Like the drumming is real simple, and you feel like you need something to boost it up a little bit. So it gives it more energy, so to speak.
Yeah, that's something that I enjoy doing with my covers, where if I'm covering a rock song, generally the drums are there already. Like I think they sound perfect the way they are, and I just want to learn them exactly as it is. But I often enjoy because it feels like slightly empty in the drumming department. Like it feels like a computer put the drums in, and I'm like, I like this song, but it could sound better with this. And then so like if I come up with something in my head that I think sounds cool, I'll cover that. But then also like I play complete nonsense that would never work when I'm just playing on my own. Like as I was saying, a pop song, just double bass. I'll never, maybe, I don't know. I was going to say I'll never release that as a cover, but maybe for fun one day I could do
Let's play.
Yeah, like that.
Let's play, that sort of thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I actually say let's play more when it's like a video game kind of deal, because that means it's obviously it's people who got a high standing in the video game industry, but it's more of their first attempt at the game, that sort of thing. But so I don't know, maybe an idea of something. Let's play drums and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe on TikTok I could do, if I don't want to do a full, I'll go to TikTok if I just want to post a little clip. Maybe I could just do a little clip adding crazy drums to things that don't need it at all, just for fun.
I know I've done drum solos before, but actually that was my first one and kind of broke me on the TikTok. And I think it was actually my most watched video, because maybe other ones, because I think other ones I've done maybe short clips of podcast episodes and stuff like that, just to, because I think they don't allow you to do like over 3 minutes of a video or something.
Yeah.
So it's mainly just like just kind of giving you an idea like what to expect in this episode, something like that. Or sometimes what I do is I do a little clip in the beginning and then kind of roll the credits a little bit.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Speaking of TikTok, what do you think of it? Because I know like previously people just saw it as like teens dancing on there. But from my experience, I've discovered a lot of really talented musicians and singers on there. And I think it's a really cool and musicians getting their names out there, because I believe like if you're good enough, that algorithm will push you to people and they'll share it and people will see you if you're good enough. Like, what do you think of TikTok and like the music industry right now?
Well, music industry is always a hard kind of beast to kind of get into too, because obviously in terms of like money, if you want to like spend to go into like studios and stuff like that, social media is kind of odd too, and the algorithms stuff, you'll get spammed a lot with those people saying like, hey, increase your audience here, and it's like probably all these bots from like over there in India or somewhere in the Southeast Asia or whatever it is. So it kind of gets a little annoying. I could see like why you would want to promote yourself or do something funny. I know people post these crazy videos where it's probably like inches away from me or like hitting their head from something and stuff like that. So that stuff's cool. So
Yeah.
I can understand maybe some promotion, but like it gets tough. So
Yeah.
I can see why it could be a valuable tool, but you gotta make sure you know what you're doing.
Yeah. I don't think drumming does particularly well on TikTok. I think like the biggest drummers I've noticed, it's basically like for the spectacle, not really the drumming skill. Like I noticed like there's a guy with paint and he hits his drums and he gets a lot of views. And then there's like Luke Holland who did well on YouTube, who he doesn't do well on TikTok. So it's surprising, but I think it's still cool for maybe finding new music on there. I found a lot.
Well, the thing that's irritating too, I think this kind of ties into why you say drummers don't do well, is if you're just trying to do like maybe a clip of like copyrighted music and stuff like that for a drum cover, they'll take the audio off. They'll still play the video, but they'll take the audio off. So that's kind of annoying, and then you don't really get the views that you would want to see. So,
Yep, that's a problem, definitely.
well, it's almost like, and this is also the problem too with like some artists, because I know when people have covered like Prince, the Beatles and stuff, even if they put with some of the guys I talked to over in the UK, for instance, and maybe it won't be for a while until YouTube decides like, okay, you can go ahead and post it. So that much is infuriating. So I thought they should just say like, if you have the disclaimer, you're fine and you're not making any money from it. So
Yeah. Yeah, I've had that issue on more so Instagram and YouTube, where I think I've had the hardest time with Instagram, where it just blocks my video completely. Doesn't even give me like the chance to do anything. YouTube issues, but I've been able to dispute it because I will say, fair use. I'm making my own drums to this. It's like, I forget what they call it. It's transformative. So I try to use that. And also I'm not making money off of it. So there's no reason to block it. Yeah. That happened recently on my Demi Lovato cover that I did on Instagram. I thought it was deleted completely, but it was still up. So I lucked out with that. But there have been covers that I couldn't put on Instagram.
yeah, I've got those weird ones too, where it says like your video can't play like certain countries and around the world too, which for some reason is like North Korea, Somalia, Brunei, or whatever. It's like, how the hell do I even care about that? It's like people I'm not even gonna go see, or why would I even want to go visit those countries? There's a hermit country. There's a country ruled by pirates, so to speak, and then you got strict countries like that. So I'm like, why do you even care to actually send me that message? So
Yeah. On YouTube, my last two covers, Harry Styles and Demi Lovato, they both are restricted in Russia, I think. I'm not sure if there were other countries along with it, but I remember looking and then noticing that no one watched my videos from Russia or whatever countries anyway. And I was like, I'm not even going to try to dispute this because they wouldn't have seen it anyway. But it's frustrating when it's like a lot of places that you can't watch it because you work so hard on it and you wish people could see it. But, for the most part, it works. For
Yeah,
the most part, it's fine.
we're still here, and I mean, we'll still crank out the videos. I know in the U.S. they'll do the copyright claim, but they'll say like, we'll just run ads on this video and that sort of thing. So I guess
Mhm.
it's not the same everywhere else. So
Yeah.
kind of unfortunate. Oh well, and life goes on.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you have any other questions or anything?
I don't think I have any more questions for you. Do you have any more for me?
There was one. And normally it's the last question I like to do, but I was trying to think if there was anything else. Have you ever done any collaborations with anybody?
I haven't. Not, I don't think I have. No, I haven't online. The only collaboration I could say would just be with my sister and my friends in real life, but nothing on the internet. Not yet.
I see. Normally, in case people like to get more subscriber views, it's normally best to like do those kind of collaborations with somebody who's got a little bit higher ones.
Mm-hmm.
So, wink, wink, that sort of thing. So,
Oh,
I'll give you
if
something.
you want to collab.
Well, that one, and I guess I'll just give you ideas to branch out and reach out to other drummers, even in our community. And hey, if you're lucky, maybe get your favorite influencers to tag along too.
You never know. You never know.
Actually, I did remember what I wanted to ask, and this one I normally feel bad too because on YouTube there may be like women who get a lot of views and have a lot of subscribers, but at the same time, I feel kind of bad because I'm feeling like it's not the drumming that they're probably looking at; it's probably more the girl itself too.
Yeah.
Do you kind of get that feeling too, or?
There are some drummers where I've noticed that. A comment I got once where someone wrote to me, "You should play your next cover wearing heels." And I was like, "Why?" But I noticed there is a female drummer that drums in heels, which she is actually very good. She's very good, but you know, a lot of people are watching for, I guess it's a gimmick, wearing the heels for the cover. She's very good though. Yeah, and there are some female drummers that I think you could call it looking like sexy or whatever while playing. And to me, it's like you do you, you know? If you know this is going to get you more views and you're good at drumming, go for it. Like have at it. It it would be too bad if was anyone that like wasn't really good at drumming and is just getting views that way. But once again, I'm like, if you know you're going to get views, like you do what you got to do. Like if this is working for you, it works for you. And I've noticed that on TikTok, women drummers on there, and they don't they don't like try to thirst trap, or they're just playing drums really well. And I noticed they don't get as many views and likes as the drummers that are doing that, which is unfortunate. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I've seen some male drummers on TikTok as well that get more views for thirst trapping, like these young boys with their swoopy hair. It'll barely the camera won't be on the drums. It's just like them, and you know they're trying to look sexy and stuff while they play a fairly simple beat, and that will do well. But honestly, it's fine. You know, if you figure out what's gonna work for you and it does work for you, congratulations.
Or it's like the super ripped guys that are probably either like all tied up because I thought I saw one who was doing a Slipknot cover for Duality and it looked like he was well built and everything, but he had like tats like all throughout his chest and belly and stuff like that too. So I think that's another thing too. And kind of go back to the comments too. You get those weird ones who it sounds like pornographic in a way too. And
Yeah,
it's pretty unfortunate too.
it's weird because once again, like people will be like, "Oh, they're just being nice or whatever," and it's like, would he ask a male drummer that to wear heels for the cover? No, I don't think so. Would they ask a male drummer to be smiling during the cover? Probably not. So there's a bit of sex hasn't been bad. I'm lucky enough those comments are very minimal for me.
That's good to hear.
Hmm.
All right. So if there be no one else, can we jump to the last question, or did you have something else?
I'm good. Go ahead.
All right. So this one I've always liked to ask my interviewees because given what COVID has done, I guess throughout the last couple of decades too, because we've gone through a recession, stuff like that, and now we had COVID kind of knock us down again. Given what musicians have gone through since the states have like closed the studios and stuff, and I imagine California was kind of the same way, uh, I think people struggle with hope. So, what sort of message of hope could you give strictly more to the musicians? And if you want to share with anybody else, go right ahead.
Well, I know it's been tough, especially for touring musicians during COVID. Um, but once things started to open again, people went back. People are going back because people crave live music. Like, I don't think it will go away completely. Um, there may be like surges or whatever in this virus, but people are always going to continue to go. Like, I've had to reduce the amount of concerts I've gone to, but I'm about to go to my second one. I'm going to see the Marias in October, and it's an outdoor venue. You know, it's going to be, I think there's going to be ways to continue. So continue to, continue. Whether it be wearing masks at concerts, or people might not even care anymore, or just like having more outdoor sort of venues, it will continue. Like with movie theaters, like people didn't go for a while, but once they started releasing movies again, movies are making $1 billion again because people crave the communal experience, being all together, watching something together. So musicians, it will be okay.
And also watching Tom Cruise in Top Gun. That's okay.
I haven't seen that yet, but I'm probably gonna watch it this week.
I haven't seen it either, but I think it was like a sequel to the original, the one that they did way back when. I guess Tom Cruise was just a young actor then, so I guess they're just kind of picking up where they left off. But I guess seeing that it did well, I guess hats off to him. So good on you, and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And how many live shows have you been to so far? You said this is going to be your second one coming up.
Yeah, during COVID times, this will be my second. I'm still very cautious. So, like, I was even surprised that I got tickets to this show. But I discovered the Marias in 2020 during quarantine. And so I had never seen them before that. And I was like, oh, I really like them. It's going to be at the Greek. It's going to be outdoors. I was like, I am willing to take this risk to see them. And like the band I saw last year, the Aces, I also discovered them in 2020. And so I don't want to miss out. So I'm going to like be cautious still and do what makes me comfortable. But I don't want to regret not seeing these bands that I really like.
That was the same way with me. I actually went to 2 shows back in April and May.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the more alternative rock and metal kind of stuff too, but it was boosted and everything too. So at that point I was not wearing a mask. I was just going to treat myself like it was normal times, that sort of thing too. So
yeah,
got killer footage all throughout the shows too. So I was super happy with that stuff.
That's good. Yeah, there's nothing like seeing your favorite band live. It's awesome.
At least one of your many favorite bands, considering you have like a long playlist and stuff like that too. So.
Oh yeah, I do. I've got a whole playlist. Whenever I hear a song I really like, I just yeah. Mm-hmm.
And just rock on.
Exactly.
That sort of thing. There we go. Bob the heads and everything too. All right. So, Briana, we've kind of reached the end of my podcast right here, I guess. Did you have any shout outs or any last words you want to do before we close out?
Well, shout out to Rich. Thank you for putting me in contact with Brian and for shouting me out. I appreciate that. Drum Covers by Bill shouted me out as well previously. and I am still super channel is bforbriana. On Instagram and TikTok, I'm bmacias777. If you want to check out like my more silly things and like just like personal things on there, you can find me there. But yeah, it was really, really great talking to you. It was fun conversation.
And Bling Empire, is it only on Netflix, or do you do it on any of the other streaming services?
That is only on Netflix, and it was very exciting. It was the first time I saw my name in credits of a TV show. So if you look at the credits, Briana Macias will be in there.
That's so sweet, too. All right, so everyone, my guest today was Briana Macias, and our first woman on our podcast. That is a crown achievement and everything. We hope to get some more on here eventually.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, we got I think a couple more men we got to get through first before we expand back out to the women, though. But thank you so much again, Briana. So,
no problem.
All right, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Everybody stay safe. Stay tuned, y'all.